These are the top 10 best tablets in 2023.
Number 1. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. The new Tab S8 Ultra has a large 14.6 inches display, Super AMOLED display, 128 gigs of storage and can go up to 512 gigs of storage, 8 gigs of RAM, up to 16 gigs of RAM, 30 megapixel camera, and 8 megapixel selfie camera with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the same in the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Number 2. Apple iPad Air 5. The new iPad Air 2022 has a 10.9-inch display, Liquid Retina IPS LCD, 60Hz, 1640 by 2360 pixels, supercharged by the Apple M1 chip, the fastest processor ever, and it's even faster than most PC laptops. The M1 chip has 8 cores CPU, 8 cores GPU, and 16 cores Neural Engine. The same M1 chip that Apple used in the iPad Pro and the MacBook Air M1. It's 5G network, 12 megapixel wide camera and 12 megapixel selfie camera. And center stage for the selfie camera, so it will keep you in frame. It follows you and it tracks you wherever you move. It's compatible with the second generation Apple Pencil and with the Magic Keyboard. Oh yeah, that's a great tablet. Fun fact, it's my iPad. Number 3. The best portable tablet ever. The iPad Mini 6 from Apple. 8.3 inches display, 1488 by 2266 pixels, 12 megapixel camera, 2160p, 4 gigs of RAM, Apple A15 Bionic, 5G network. Announced 14 September 2021. Display Liquid Retina IPS LCD 500 nits. iPadOS 15 up to iPadOS 15.7, upgradable to iPadOS 16.1, 5nm processor, A15 Bionic, hexa-core, Apple GPU, 5 cores GPU, 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, 12 megapixel selfie camera, video, 4K, 24, 25, 30, 60 FPS, 1080p, 25, 30, 60, 120 or 240 FPS. Loudspeakers, stereo speakers, 5.0 Bluetooth, USB 3.1, fingerprint, side-mounted battery, 90.3 watts. Colors, space gray, pink, purple, starlight. Number 4. The Microsoft Surface Pro 9. The tablet has a 13-inch touch display, 2880 by 1920 pixels, 120 Hz refresh rate, 3 by 2 aspect ratio. Memory 16 gigs of RAM. Processor Intel Core i7. Removable SSD 256 gigs of storage. Battery 47.7 watts. Ports 2 USB-C with USB 4.0 Thunderbolt 4, 1 Surface Connect port, 1 Surface Type cover port. Cameras Windows Hello front-facing camera with 1080p Full HD video, 10 megapixel rear-facing autofocus camera with 1080p HD and 4K video, wireless Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.1. Number 5. Samsung Galaxy Tab S8. This is the best Android tablet ever with the new 11-inch display, LCD TFT, a 30 megapixel wide camera, 8 megapixel selfie camera. That's a great tablet. the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the same processor that Samsung used in the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Wow. A USB-C port, 45-watt charging, an S Pen included in the box. That's a great tablet. Number 6. Apple iPad Pro 2022. The M2 iPad Pro has 11-inch display or 12.9-inch display. You choose between them. A 12-megapixel camera, and for the first time you can capture ProRes videos, 2160p, 8 gigs of RAM for the 128 gigs of storage. And for the 256 gigs of storage and the 512 gigs, you also get 8 gigs of RAM. With the 1 terabyte of storage or the 2 terabyte of storage, you get 16 gigs of RAM. 10,758 millions. 5G network. Announced 18 October. Available 26 October. Look at Retina XDR Mini LED LCD display. 120 Hz. HDR10 Dolby Vision 1000 nits up to 1600 nits peak brightness. Size 12.9-inch display or 11-inch display. Resolution 2048 by 2732 pixels. 4:3 aspect ratio, 265 dpi density. Protection, scratch resistant glass. OS, iPad OS 16.1. Chipset, Apple M2 chip. The fastest processor ever, and even faster than most PC laptops except the newest MacBooks. Video 4K 24, 25, 30 or 60 frames per second, 1080p 25, 30, 60, 120 to 140 frames per second. ProRes cinematic mode. This iPad has cinematic mode. Oh wow. Top 3D LiDAR scanner, 10 megapixel ultra wide camera. Loud speakers, 4 speakers. Bluetooth 5.3. USB Type-C 4. Thunderbolt 4. DisplayPort magnetic connector. Sensors Face ID. Messaging iMessage, email, push email, IM. Charging 18 watts. 10,758 millions, which is 40.88 watts. It's a non-removable battery. Colors silver, space gray. And the 11-inch model starts at $799, and the 12.9-inch model starts at $1,099, which is super expensive for an iPad that starts with this price. And yeah, that's the M2 iPad Pro, the best iPad for pro users. Number 7. Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. The Galaxy Tab S8 Plus has a large 12.4-inch display, Super AMOLED display, 120 Hz, 274 ppi. It's 5G network, and we also have a 30 megapixel camera and an 8 megapixel selfie camera with this tablet. You also have the S Pen included in the box, which is great. And yeah, that's the S8 Plus, a great tablet, yeah. Number 8. The new iPad 10 from Apple. The iPad 10 has a large 10.9-inch display, same as the iPad Air. It has an sRGB display. Also, you have the Liquid Retina IPS LCD display and 60 Hz, which is great for an iPad. You also have loudspeakers enough for you, a 12 megapixel rear camera and a 12 megapixel front camera which also supports now Center Stage. Number 9. Apple iPad 9 is the next generation of iPad. The iPad was announced in 2021 and it has a large 10.2-inch display, LCD 60Hz, speakers that are not very loud but enough, 4.2 Bluetooth, which is not very good, but yeah, and 4G network, 4G LTE Lite, which is actually not bad for this iPad. But the best thing is the A13 Bionic chip delivers more power than the A12 Bionic last year, 20% faster CPU, GPU, and neural engine, which is great for this iPad. This iPad has an 8 megapixel rear camera and an 12 megapixel or 8, I forgot, front camera, and it supports Center Stage. It also has an ultra wide camera, which is great, and yeah, that's it. Number 10. The iPad Air 4. This iPad has been announced in 2020, but even now in 2023, it's still a great iPad and gives you great value. The iPad Air 4 has the same 10.9-inch display as the iPad Air 5. It has also a 60Hz display, laminated display, so there is no air gap between the display and the touch layer, and it also has 1640 by 2360 pixels, and this iPad has 4 gigs of RAM. It is powered by the A14 Bionic chip, faster than most PC laptops, so you can do this, or even this. The iPad Air 4 is also one of the best iPads, super portable, compatible with the Magic Keyboard and the Apple Pencil. It has stereo speakers on both sides, which is great, and it has Touch ID, 12 megapixel back camera, 7 megapixel FaceTime camera or front camera, private and secure, 60% faster, Wi-Fi 6, USB-C, and more. And yeah, that's the iPad Air 4. Now comment which one is your favorite and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. Do it now. Yeah. Very easy. Subscribe.